Hello everybody, this is Colin on the ASA League channel, and here we are for Race 6, the qualifying round at Talladega. This is definitely one of the most controversial tracks on the roster because we all know what happened at Daytona at the beginning of the season. Mass carnage and a hole in everyone's pockets where their money used to be. A definite, just a pretty much a huge pile up on the backstretch, and it really just was incredible to watch, but also definitely costly to some of these younger teams trying to make their way in the sport, as we see. But we are here at Talladega, the track that's just a little longer than Daytona, 2.667 miles long, and this track probably will hold some of the same that we saw at Daytona. Big ones are always imminent, and we may see one here again this year. However, obviously, we hopes that it's not going to be the case, but you can never really know with these kind of things. However, the Carver Emergency Series drivers obviously are not scared at all. We have 29 drivers trying to make the field. Now remember, we are at a super speedway, and the rule for super speedways is there's 14 drivers that make it in instead of the regular 10. So we will see, guys, because there are more drivers trying to make this race, there are actually more spots as well. Not because there's more drivers, but only because we are at a super speedway. As we see the drivers start to drive off the track, we're going to catch up with the first driver that started a lap. I believe it was James Richardson, and Sebastian Torres are the first people. I believe we are right. So James Richardson, the first one off, trying to make a lap. We are going to put up the scoreboard here, and they make the first two laps. Sebastian a little bit quicker just because he was catching the draft of James Richardson. Richardson has had a pretty decent season so far in his own team. However, Torres trying to make his first start. This small team, owned and operated by Sebastian Torres, just trying to make the field at least once. That's his wish. We see also back here more cars coming off of pit road. That one's Julio Caesar. And up on the outside, we see a first-time starter. This one is Eric Willis, ex-points leader of the Pennzoil Pro Series. Obviously, due to a couple fall downs, he is now not at the top of the board anymore. But currently trying to race for Rick Witt Racing in the 68 car sponsored by Boston College. He will be racing this week and the next, so can't wait to see what he can do and if he could pull off a good result here today. Got some more cars coming off pit road, but here's Tyler Selspin in the Target machine, trying to give Target a good showing this week after they failed to qualify with Robert Harrison last week. Samantha Jones in the 52 Speedco Dodge, now off of probation, or at least a warning of reckless driving. Looking at Aiden Thomas, the other Walmart machine. And behind them, the driver, the man of the day, who you can never really count out because you never know when he's going to jump to the top of the board. Kieran Pangborn, in the last seconds of Daytona qualifying, he jumped to the top of the board and secured himself a spot. This underfunded team, or at least was once underfunded, kind of still is, but now they have a lot of sponsorship pouring in for Kieran after that amazing run. He got Florida Lottery that week, but this time he has USAA from William Brock's camp in the Pennzoil Pro Series on the car. Not the only driver to receive some extra sponsorship, though. We'll see another one later. Here's the one car of Zach Komoski trying to make another start at BK Racing, or Blaine Keys Racing. Currently, Komoski is just trying to improve his position, not in like his mood at least, because he's actually been pretty terrible these past few weeks in the Pennzoil Pro Series, and he wants to get his season back straight again. And with a good run here at Talladega, he might have some more confidence going into the Pennzoil Pro Series race, especially if he at least qualifies for the Copper Emergency Series race. We see two drivers without sponsors for this week. Tanya Breyer and Dylan Membrilla both have been struggling to find sponsorship. Have found one-off deal sponsorships, but have not really been able to find a consistent one. And these two drivers obviously worthy of them, definitely. At least Membrilla, because he was having a really good start to the season until he lost sponsorship. Here is Ryan Dunn at the top of the board right now, and Dunn is always a contender, and whenever he starts a race in the Copper Emergency Series. One of the dominant drivers to be feared in the Pennzoil Pro Series, obviously trying to help out Old Spice Racing's Carbureted Amateur Series division, Blue Flare Motorsports, in this series, and trying to get them a win, the 61 team. And behind them, you also see Stuart Gratton, the Xfinity Ford. This driver tried to make Daytona, however, did not end up making it. So they tried to make Daytona, however, Stuart actually wasn't ready to make Daytona as he had life issues get in the way, so he decided to start Talladega instead. Pretty much the same track, but I'm sure he's glad he's starting this one instead of Daytona, because he might have been involved in the big one if he made the race. Here's the other driver with new sponsorship, Carson Bowers, with Time Warner Cable on the car, a new sponsor in the series. And they planned that this will be a multi-year agreement. So interesting that Carson Bowers is picking up some sponsorship both from Zach and Time Warner Cable. So definitely a driver worth looking out in Maui Motorsports' privilege to have. Here's Ryan Kendall in the zero-driven car, making another start for Red Stallion Racing. John Arndt with Zaxby's on the hood again. Arndt looking to show success in that Chevy for Shark Bite Racing. Callum Wood, Webster Zygarde, and Jake Rogers making his debut appearance for Rick Witt Racing. Also trying to make the field. And we get around. Here's the 78 car. Now this is originally the 77 car, but however, only for this race they decided to take one of the 77 cars back at the shop and turn it to the 78. And this is Ryder Smith, as he will be handling this ride, as well as Kieran Pangborn. So for the first time, we see Jones Motorsports with 2 cars in the entry roster. We see Cole Baker, Haley Wish, a couple drivers down on pit road. A lot of drivers, though, here for doubleheader weekend. We see the 93 car of Jeremy Jones here as well. Giovanni Barraza and AJ Bain. These guys look to be very quick. In fact, a couple of them pushed their names up to the top of the board. I see Haley Wish, and she's in that group. And now we're coming back around full circle. Ryan Shelton in the 24 car trying to make a good lap. Samantha Jones with a good lap on top of the board. We see Who Flung Poo in the 50 car here running all alone. And what's that on the hood? I don't believe he's gotten any sponsorship. Oh man, it looks like some edgy teenagers might have graffitied all over that car. And that's such a shame. People defiling that car. Grandson of legend Holy Fook. Definitely not deserving of that, as they probably want to get that wiped off come race day. But anyways, as we look through the field, we are going to turn our attention now to the scoreboard, and we're going to direct our attention. I see the 88 car up there, Tyler Selspin with also Aiden Thomas, a good run there. As you look down, here's the cutoff line. This is where we actually need to be looking, and you see Cole Baker is on the outside looking in, and Jose Vaquez trying to make his first Carbureted Amateur Series appearance, despite him trying 3 times already. So he's just trying to get some good luck here. Looks like Ryan Dunn has gotten some tires and gotten back out again. I believe Jake Rogers in there as well, so Jake trying to make his first start here. Kieran Pangborn safely in, Eric Willis in. Ooh, and 2 drivers just knocked their names up on the top. Giovanni Barraza being 1, and Cole Baker being the 2nd. Dylan Membrilla, the 25 car of Callum Wood. Webster Zygarde, I see in there. And now it looks like Stuart Gratton is out. So is Jose Vaquez, Ryder Smith, and hanging on by a thread is Jake Rogers. And this is where some of the drivers came from. The 12 of Webster Zygarde, Callum Wood. They're going to get some drafting help from the 23 car here. And Bowers is outside right now, as well as Ryder Smith. And you look down the list. Cars that are not in right now. Jose Vaquez parked his car. I think a little bit too ambitious to say, hey, I made the race. Well, you just got knocked out. You better try to make another run here, although I believe it's too late. Look at this pack, and this is where Cole Baker got up into the field, as well as Giovanni Barraza. A lot of quick drivers coming from here, as well as the Jones Motorsports car of Ryder Smith. He made it in. It looks like both Jones Motorsports cars are going to make it in, And we just officially reached the end of the practice. Qualifying. But it looks like Aiden Thomas will be on top. Let's go find him. And Thomas is back here. So yeah, we got two big groups here, and it looks like that's where we're gonna find all of our big drivers. As you look down, Ryan Dunn is holding on to the last spot, and Jake Rogers just got booted out. I don't see who it was. I believe it may have been the 93 of Jeremy Jones, but I can't remember if he was there before. Anyways, as we look back, drivers not making it in, it doesn't appear. Zach Kaminsky, Julio Caesar, James Richardson. Ooh, some drivers made some moves here, but none will affect the top 14. So I believe that is what we'll get, unless we see some moves here. Kaminsky trying to come around. That is it. So yes, qualifying is complete, and there are your standings. Aiden Thomas will grab the pole, or at least in this qualifying race. There's a whole nother qualifying for the actual event. Samantha Jones in as well in second. Tyler Selspin will put target in the actual race this week. In third, Callum Wood will start the Robesto's Toyota in fourth. Giovanni Barraza, another start for him. He's starting to get his season back on track in fifth. Webster Zygarde a good solid sixth. Jeremy Jones up to seventh. Cole Baker in eighth. Ryder Smith and Kieran Pangborn. That team, that is incredible because that 78 car was not even a thing a week ago. They just decided to put the 78 in as well because they wanted Kieran Pangborn in this race. They had sponsorship for him, so they put the actual driver of the 77 in the 78 with Lucas Oil on the side of that car, and they got both of those rides in the field. Great job for that team. Definitely a super speedway-oriented team. Eric Willis will bring up 11th, Dylan Membrilla 12th, Haley Wish 13th, Ryan Dunn 14th. And then looking outwards, Jake Rogers almost made his first start, which would have been incredible. Stuart Gratton does not make his only start. AJ Bain still trying to make a good race appearance. Jose Viquez, Tania Breyer, Carson Bowers will finish 20th. And then drivers down here needed to step their times up a lot. Ryan Kendall, Julio Caesar, Huflung Poo, Sebastian Torres, James Richardson, Ryan Shelton, Zach Kaminsky, John Arndt, and Ben Gerhardt. It's especially surprising to see Ben Gerhardt, John Arndt, and Zach Kaminsky way down the list there, as those drivers I would think would be good super speedway racers, but obviously did not perform today. Anyways, that is your field, the biggest field in qualifying yet, and we saw 14 drivers make it, and 15 go home. So about a half and half here today, but there are 14 happy faces ready to go on and move into the actual event. We'll see you next time at Talladega for the Coburn Emerson Series Race 6 race, and it will be official. What will happen? Will we see another big one? We'll tune in, and we'll see.